Sat Sri Akal, everyone. My name is Bobby Singh Allen. I am the proud mayor of the city of Elk Grove, and I am the president for the American Petroleum and Convenience Store Association. You are tuning in to Punjab Mail USA. So thank you, everyone. And today we have a very special guest. We have Sacramento County District Attorney Tian Ho. Welcome, District Attorney Tian Ho.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. It's a true honor, Mayor Bobby, to be here on Punjabi Mail USA. It's a true honor.
Thank you. So the election is right around the corner, and there are many, many important things that voters will be deciding on. But something that is really, really important, that is important for sure for the Indian community, and that is Proposition 36. So for those of you who own a convenience store, a liquor store, really anybody in the retail industry, this proposition is super important. So Tian Ho, can you please tell us a little bit about Proposition 36?
Absolutely. So let me just set the stage for Proposition 36. Right now in the state of California, we are seeing retail theft, shoplifting at its highest rate since the 1990s. I was talking to a convenience store owner here in Sacramento, and he said that 6 out of 10 people walking into his store are committing theft. Yeah. How can you maintain a business if that's the case? And what Proposition 36 does is it gives us the tools as prosecutor to hold people who steal over and over again accountable, put them in jail.
Yes. So, we've been hearing things from the governor and other members of the legislature that they've already signed retail theft legislation. We don't need Proposition 36. What do you say to that?
First of all, I do want to commend the governor and the legislature for passing these different laws to help with retail theft, but we need more tools. So what happened was in 2014, we passed Proposition 47, the state did. What that did was it increased the amount of money that somebody steals before we can charge them with a felony to $950. The other thing it did was, in the old days when I was a young prosecutor, if you had a previous conviction for stealing and you committed another theft, that second one is a felony. Proposition 47 took that away. And that's why you see people going into a store stealing again and again and again. So what Proposition 36 does that is different from those bills that was signed by the governor is this, is if you have 2 prior theft convictions, the third, we can charge them as a felony. So when the police come out and they arrest somebody for that theft offense, it's not just a citation, here you go, and they're released, and they don't show up in court. They actually get arrested, get taken to jail, and a judge reviews their status, their bail status, and then they go in front of a judge to hold them accountable. If they're stealing because of their drug addiction, then they get treatment. And if they're stealing because they're trying to make a profit, then they have to be held accountable.
So what I'm hearing from you is this proposition is not just about accountability, but it's also about mass treatment.
Exactly. So one of the things that Prop 47 did was if you were in possession of cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine, you were now only being charged with a misdemeanor. And so when they reduced the penalties for those crimes, people that were addicted to drugs, they drop out of drug court. It killed drug court and rehabilitation. What Proposition 36 does is if you have 2 prior drug convictions, the third becomes what we call a treatment mandated felony, meaning you get the option of treatment or you go to jail, to encourage people to get the treatment they need.
So tell me a little bit about sort of the support that this coalition has. Who supports Proposition 36?
So it's really a bipartisan group. We have now nearly, almost 300 elected officials. We have businesses. And best of all, we have Mayor Bobby, who is supporting it, along with myself and Mayor Matt Mahan from San Jose. So we have a committee, along with almost 300 other elected officials up and down the state of California to support it.
So this sounds like it has very strong bipartisan support, myself included. My entire city council actually endorsed Proposition 36. And, I'm just coming back from a conference. And when I talked to local leaders, whether they were Democrats or Republicans, they wanted to step up and support Proposition 36 because we are on the front lines, right? As you're in the community. these businesses, but elected officials at the local level, we see the impact of retail theft, crime, homelessness, and fentanyl. Tell me a little bit about homelessness.
Well, I do want to say that you are absolutely right. This is why leaders like Mayor Bobby, you are on the front line, on the streets, in the neighborhoods, in the community. I'm on the front line in the courtroom, so I see it. And that's why so many local officials support this. Because we see homelessness, and you talked about that. Well, there's a study out of Stanford that 8 out of 10 people that are chronically homeless for more than a year, have mental health and substance abuse issue. And so if they're addicted to drugs and they're in the throes of addiction, we need to have the tools to encourage them to get the treatment they need off the streets. And that's what Proposition 36 does specifically with the treatment mandated felony.
So when the governor says that this is going to return to an era of mass incarceration and the war on drugs, what do you say to that?
I believe that this is not about mass incarceration, it's about mass treatment. The idea here is to get people the help they need. But let's say you're a drug addict, living on the streets, getting high on fentanyl, and then stealing something from a store. Now, you come in front of a judge, and the judge says, well, you can do 1 or 2 days in jail, or you can go through a 1.5 year treatment program. What are you going to do if you're the drug addict? You're going to take the path of the least resistance. You're going to go ahead and take the 1 or 2 days. But if we increase the accountability, increase the punishment and the charges that they face, they're more likely to take the treatment program. And if people finish the treatment, I'll dismiss the case. I'll expunge it from the record. But we want to encourage people to get the treatment they need. And right now they're not. And so we see it on the streets. We see it in the small businesses. We see it at the gas stations.
Absolutely. You know, I remember talking to a member of the legislature, and they were using scare tactics to some of our convenience store owners, saying things like, oh, well, they're going to end up in jail for stealing pizza or a can of Coke or a pack of gum. What do you say to that?
That's not the case at all. There's so many different opportunities to make sure. First of all, we don't file charges, felonies, on stealing a packet of gum. That's just not what we do. And even if we did do that, the judge has the opportunity to reduce the charges, to give treatment. The defense attorney represents the individual. And there's so many opportunities to get diversion, to get treatment, to get services. And if they do so, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give them the opportunity at redemption. But we have to have a way of accountability. I was talking to somebody who was addicted to drugs. They got off drug and they said this: compassion without accountability condemns people in the throes of addiction to continue in the cycle and to die.
Powerful, powerful words. You know, we live in the 5th largest economy in the world, California. And when I go downtown, I see the homelessness crisis, which is really everywhere. And I would say that it is inhumane to see these individuals, defecating on themselves steps from the Capitol. So this homelessness crisis, what is the correlation with homelessness and Proposition 36?
You know, we talked about that. So fentanyl is a drug right now that is just an epidemic crisis. We seized enough fentanyl in California last year to kill every person on the face of the earth. If I had a packet of sugar right now of fentanyl, that packet of sugar could kill 500 people.
Oh my gosh.
We had 400 people die from fentanyl poisoning last year in Sacramento, all in the gun-related homicides in the last 10 years.
Oh my gosh.
So fentanyl is being used a lot by those that are homeless. And it's 50 times more addictive than heroin. The high only lasts for about 2 hours. So when somebody uses fentanyl, they get off that high. They oftentimes have to commit theft and other crimes in order to feed that habit. And they're living in third world conditions on the streets because of the drug addiction, those that have been homeless for more than a year. So what this allows us to do, Prop 36, is to allow us to get them into custody, get them into treatment, get them into help.
Right. I mean, it's obviously very important. One of the other things that I've heard from the governor and others is that we just can't afford Proposition 36. What do you say to that?
You know, I'm going to quote you because we were at a press conference in front of the Capitol and somebody asked that question about the cost of Proposition 36. And I've heard you say it many times. What about the cost of human lives? What about the cost to the businesses? What about the cost to our community? The cost to the people dying on the streets? And those were very eloquent words, you know, that you said.
Thank you. Absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, we cannot afford to close down any more businesses. And as a mother, I've seen grieving mothers. We cannot afford to lose another child to fentanyl. So in summary, what do you want our viewers to know?
You know, Proposition 36 is going to give us the tools to really deal with homelessness, retail theft, and drug addiction. I'm asking, I know you are, that those that are in the Indian community support this. You know, as immigrants, as people who believe in law and order, we really want to advocate and ask you to vote yes for Proposition 36 because it's going to keep us safe, safe where we live, safe where we raise our families, safe where we run our businesses, safe where we pray, and safe where we simply enjoy life in the community.
So मेरी बेनती हैगी है कि तुसी सारे जाने please vote yes on Proposition 36. Let's help California become more accountable and more sympathetic towards our homelessness and those suffering from fentanyl. At the end of the day, this is about accountability. And ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ small business owners ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਆ ਹਰ ਵੇਲੇ all of the retail theft and crime ਆਪਣੀ ਸਟੋਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੋ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ. So ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕਰਦੀ ਆ ਕਿ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਾਣੇ please vote yes on Proposition 36. Thank you. ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ.